Ladies and gentlemen, at this time to honor America, we ask that you please rise and remove your caps for the playing of our national anthem. Welcome to this Tuesday, July 5th edition of Wire to Wire. Hello from Horseshoe Indianapolis. Track announcer John G. Dooley alongside Racing Rachel with 10 races on tap, 9 thoroughbred races. Hey, we close with the Bradford Stakes.
Yeah.
With the quarter horses over the 400 yards. Sunny skies, hot day, of course. We'll have short post parades for our equine athletes. A lot of precautions as we keep an eye on all of our racers here today, both, of course, thoroughbred quarter horse and jockeys, all the horsemen. But 10 races on tap and scheduled off at 2:30, Rachel.
That's right. We have very hot weather. It's one of those days again where you leave the air conditioning, and if you have glasses on, they fog up. It's so hot. I mean, it really feels like you have to have gills on out there. But we do have an amazing week of racing coming up, and Saturday especially for Derby. And we have a whole lot of new information to report with the overnight coming out. And Jenny, I have always said that woman works for her money. I'm telling you right now, we have brought her on the payroll the last few years to cover the Derby, and it is money well spent because the overnight came out already yesterday. The draw was just yesterday. She already sent me an interview that we're going to share with you guys. So, yeah, Derby is pretty much our talk of the day here, and the Bradford Stakes, of course.
Yeah, Indiana Derby week, and it started yesterday. Nice 4th of July crowd. So if you joined us here at the races, thank you. It was a terrific Independence Day celebration racing-wise. We had the Dooley bobblehead. Cheers to all of you who picked up one of those bobbleheads yesterday here as we kicked off, as I noted, Indiana Derby week. We had a great racing handle. Cheers to the bettors. Over $1.7 million bet on our races here yesterday. But in addition to the racing action. There was a lot of action in the racing office as we drew Saturday's card. 12 races, 8 stakes races, including the Grade 3 Indiana Derby, Indiana Oaks as well.
And as we had an early post, normally I go down there in the morning and I'll set up my camera and we'll do a live on social media to at least show the draw live, but we didn't get to do that. So shout out to Lafitte, to John Herbstreit, to everybody in the racing office who made sure to get me a little video. And we've edited it together, so if we want to take a look at that, and then we can talk a little bit about what Jenny has for us.
It'll be this coming Saturday, Grade 3 Indiana Derby. Let's take a closer look at, well, some of the contenders and especially Rattle and Roll.
Okay.
10.
And the 10, Fowler Blue, Doug O'Neill, Sonny Leon.
4.
4, King Ottoman, Steve Asmussen, Marcelino Pedroza.
9.
9, Un Ojo, Diodoro, David Cohen.
7.
7, Best Actor, Brad Cox, Florent Giroux.
3.
3, Moens, Mike Lauer, John Court.
5.
5, New Year's Fever, Brandy Steele, Rodney Prescott.
2.
2, First Glimpse, Carlos Silva, Orlando Mojica.
8.
8, Accutator, Michael McCarthy, James Graham.
1.
1, Trademark, Vicky Oliver, Rafael Bejarano.
And the 6.
And the 6, Rattle and Roll, Kenny McPeak, Brian Hernandez. So, we've got Trademark, Bejarano, First Glimpse, Mojica, Moens, John Court, King Ottoman, Pedroza, New Year's Fever, Rodney Prescott, Rattle and Roll, Brian Hernandez Jr., 7, Best Actor, Florent Giroux, 8, Accutator, James Graham, 9, Un Ojo, David Cohen, and 10, Fowler Blue, Sonny Leon.
Well, once again, cheers to our racing office crew. That Grade 3 Indiana Derby draw was held yesterday here at Horseshoe Indianapolis. Rachel, a field of 10. And I mentioned Rattle and Roll, 6 for the recent American Derby winner for Kenny McPeak.
That's
Lafitte,
right.
Lafitte and Megan did a great job.
Yes, they did. You guys did a great job. Yeah, and you know, that's one of the ones that I got a little interest in. People asking me, well, just one, blah, blah, blah. So super interested to see what Jenny Reese got from Kenny McPeak here. She talked to him for a couple minutes about his horse. But very excited about Moens, who's in, coming off of Indiana bred stake. And my other Indiana bred now, New Year's Fever did it cross enter onto the turf as well. But I think it's interesting, and you know, wouldn't it just be the case if some, you know, long shot won the Indiana Derby, which usually happens. But there's a couple of really nice horses in here. King Ottoman, who we just, you know, is coming out of that Texas Derby. This is a nice field, and we're really excited to see how it plays out. But yeah, a field of 10 in here, and I think it might be a nice race where you could find some value.
Yeah, Best Actor, he's undefeated. I mean,
Yes,
2 for 2.
yeah.
We often
Didn't
see
even
jockey
mention that.
Florent Giroux. He's come, She Dares the Devil comes to mind when Florent Giroux comes here for a reason, not so much the season, but he's riding for Brad Cox. Flo listed on Best Actor, who's 2 for 2. You referenced the Texas
Unoho.
Derby. Yeah, Steve Asmussen also,
yeah,
by the
King
way,
Ottoman,
King
yeah.
Ottoman. Yeah, and Unoho, the Rebel winner, and
Yeah.
expected first run since the Arkansas Derby here on Saturday in the Grade 3 Indiana Derby.
Yeah, super excited about that. So some good stories. You gotta love One Eye there for sure. I already have somebody from the news who's interested in coming out Saturday to cover some of it. So very excited about it. But Jenny Reese has got us already some inside scoop. So definitely want to take a look at that.
Yeah, let's take a look at that right now. Talking about Rattle and Roll, recent winner of the American Derby when run under the Twin Spires. Rattle and Roll.
I know, unconventional.
Yeah. You had promised Saturday after he won the off the turf American Derby that you had entered him in Iowa, and he's very aware that entries today were taken for the Indiana Derby. Said you would enter him, and you did. And it sounds like, talking to your owner, there's a very, very good chance you're going to run.
We didn't work him going into the American Derby. We went into it just off gallops, And the horse has just been doing fantastic. And, you know, there's limited opportunities for a horse like him as a season. And we looked at the calendar, and there isn't another race for him until maybe mid to late August. So I know it's unconventional. I'm a little nervous about it, but you know, we jogged him up and back Sunday morning after the race. Horse, he cleaned up by 8 o'clock the night after he ran. He's cleaned up the next morning. He's never been better. And, you know, we buy horses to race them as opposed to, you know, otherwise. And, yeah, it could be exciting. We're going to look at the PPs. And nothing's set, so we ship him up there. So.
What post did he draw? I'm trying to remember. I saw the list. Was he kind of...
They said number 6.
6, yeah, and it's a field of 10, which they figure to lose a couple. Just
Yeah.
sort of any initial thoughts without seeing the PPs on
Well,
the
I think
post
what's
and
happened
on
is
the...
between the American Derby, the Iowa Derby, and Indiana Derby, it's kind of diluted that whole group, and there are horses that they're normally those races might be a little bit bigger fields and maybe deeper, and then the horses that beat us, Hallingtime's going to the Haskell, and Cyberknife, I'm not sure where he's going, maybe the Haskell or the Jim Dandy. So those horses are going to go east. So, I mean, I think this horse is a horse that needs to be proper in the right spot, the right group, and Indiana's the right group again.
Well, cheers, Jenny Reese, for getting a hold of trainer
yeah.
Kenny McPeak. It seems that Rattle and Roll bounces back after a big stakes day better than I do, because I
Yeah.
would need more than a week. But of course, Kenny McPeak, Rattle and Roll winning that American Derby, having run in years past up at Arlington Park, now contested under the Twin Spires. But King Ottoman is a Texas Derby winner, undefeated, as I mentioned. Best actor, Un Ojo won the Rebel. So Rattle and Roll. Kenny still has a few days to make the final decision, but expect it here on Saturday.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty exciting to see how he does. But, I mean, far be it from us to question Kenny McPeak. I mean, he knows this horse pretty well, and he says he's doing really, really good. So why not take a shot?
12 races, 8 stakes. Last of the day, that'll be the Grade 3 Indiana Derby, the big race of the season here. And of course, 8 fillies entered for the Indiana Oaks. Looking forward to a big action-packed day here on Saturday. Today, 10 races on tap, all part of Indiana Derby week. We mentioned the weather, main track fast, Exmark Mowers turf course, firm, rail of 36 feet. For the official forecast, let's check in with our friends at WRTV.
From Indy's streaming news leader, this is a WRTV update.
And good Tuesday to you on WRTV Storm Team meteorologist Todd Clausen. It is going to be a very, very hot day at the track today with just a chance of a few isolated storms. But I really think the heat is the bigger concern for us. Make sure you stay hydrated as temperatures climb into the mid-90s. The entire state under a heat advisory. And that's because heat index values this afternoon will be topping off over 100 degrees through at least 4 p.m.
Our opener off here at 2:30, being weather aware. Cheers, TK. Again, we'll have short post parades for the horses competing with us here today. Speaking of those horses, 9 thoroughbred races, fast and firm. We'll wrap up with a nice quarter horse stake. It's the Bradbury over the 400 yards. Fast track, very slight headwind for those quarter horse races with 7:09, the finale for the quarter horses in the Bradford. Martha Clausen, our resident quarter horse analyst here at Horseshoe Indianapolis. But you've got some thoughts on the Bradford Stakes too, at least via Martha.
I do. I was just going to give you guys a little bit of information really quick. We do have a jockey change on the 2. Francisco Ramirez, the 3. WR's Valentino is the favorite and the defending champion today. And I like how Martha says horse for the course. That's definitely the case. And then Moon in the Wagon, that's also trained by Randy Smith for Gwen and Randy Williams, Williams Racing Stable. They've got a couple of nice ones with Randy. Wonderful people. 7 race win streak, snapped a couple. You know, we'll see what he does today. And then Country Boy 1, 2, 3, the 10 is also pretty tough. So those are her selections. For me in that race, I'm going to go 3, 9, 6. The only one that I didn't mention in my exacta is On a New Note, who I think is going to run pretty big against these guys. I'll tell you a little bit about that later. So definitely key in for the Bradford Stakes. But to talk to us about the card, we'll leave that to B today since we talked mainly Derby.
Well, once again, this coming Saturday with the running of the Indiana Derby, big card. Last last Saturday, we had that all quarter horse day. Trainer Randy Smith won 7 trial races here last Saturday on the all quarter horse day. 6 of those winners. Juan Marquez rode 6 winners for Randy Smith. German Rodriguez was on the other one for Randy Smith. Part of a big day here last Saturday in advance of our big day of the season coming up, Indiana Derby. Bradford Stakes, that'll be the finale here today as part of a 10-race card. 50-cent pick 5 starts on the 5th race. We'll take a quick commercial break. When we come back on the show, Wire to Wire, we'll be joined by racing analyst Brian Aragoni, B, with his pick 5 thoughts right after this.
It's the nature of all Caesars to rule the world, which means Caesars rule the world of sports, which means Caesars rule the world of sports books. Ergo, Caesars rule the world of sports book apps. Those are the rules.
Feel the excitement with TwinSpires.com, the official betting partner of the Kentucky Derby and Breeders' Cup. With TwinSpires.com, place legal wagers and watch live horse racing wherever you are on any device. Sign up, play, and win today. New players use promo code FREE100 on sign up to start your $100 bonus. With TwinSpires.com, you can bet on horse racing. Get the TwinSpires.com app to receive special offers and the most up-to-date information. Terms and conditions apply. Void where prohibited. Please wager responsibly.
Cheers and happy Tuesday here from Horseshoe Indianapolis. We offer a great card. I thought today's card very challenging. We do end with a quarter horse stakes race, but I'm here to talk about this low takeout pick 5, 11.99% takeout. One of the lowest takeouts in all of the land, and I thought today's sequence was incredibly challenging. We kick it off in the first leg with 2-year-olds taking to the track, and then we'll step onto the X-Mark turf course in races number 6 and 8. The pick 5 has continued to pay well. Early on in the season, it did pay balloons, but has not dropped all that significantly since some of those massive payouts as to kick off the year. We start out with 2-year-old maidens all looking for their first career victory, some of them going to the track for the first time. I'm going to key in here on 2, 4, and 7. I do think the Churchill Downs shippers look difficult, but anytime Joe Sharp sends a firster to the track, especially by Motown, we've seen some good ones being out of Motown or by Motown recently. Those are horses I'm going to key in on. So no real strong opinions. This 7-horse field. Do scratch number 8, 2, 4, and 7. I'm going to use your likely contenders because I do believe as we step on the X-Mark turf course in race number 6, this is where you can potentially find a price. I am certainly going to spread out in this spot. I'm going to take some stands against a Brad Cox trainee, the son of Godolphin. Not going to be on my ticket in here, a first-time starter that I think is going to be up against it in here because the horses with experience have been impressive. And I do happen to like Halou. I've liked this one the last couple of times. We'll see if Gage Holmes can rate that speed at all. But there are some long shots that I'm interested in, like 2, 3. Those are horses that I want to take a look at. Long Shanks, Deshaun Parker, Kara Mori. The blinkers go on. They tried the turf here earlier in the meet. They ran into a good turf. I don't think that's ultimately what Long Shanks wants to do. They shipped out of Horseshoe Indianapolis. They went to Presque Isle Downs, handled the distance well, just couldn't get on terms with the runaway winner that day. I think this is a long shot race as we kick off the pick 4 on the turf in race number 6. Moving on to race number 7 in here, this is where the single is going to come. I do think a lot of people are likely to spread in this race, but I was impressed with how Copper King ran last time out. He kind of sat, got a clean trip, no doubt about it. He did get a clean trip, but I think he can handle some adversity today. This is a horse that in a 6-horse field on a dirt course that was favoring speed all day long was 7 lengths out of it. 5th in a 6-horse field and then swung out and won rather easily for Randy Klopp, 5 for 30. And I think Copper King has found a new home on the dirt course here at Horseshoe Indianapolis. He's tried it twice, a win and a second place finish, a horse that they've tried on the turf for a long time. I think he might be just as good, if not better, on the dirt. He has handled the dirt fine in the past, 9 for 13 on the dirt. Most of the earnings have come on the dirt, but the Connections tried synthetic and turf for a long time as well. I think Copper King will relish being back on the brown stuff today. In race number 8, we'll go back out to the turf course again. This is another challenging race. I found this race to be incredibly difficult. 7.5 furlongs is a quirky distance. Sometimes those sprinters stretching out, they can handle it. They can get a loose lead. They can get brave, get a little air in their lungs, and go a long ways. Other times, they go a little bit too fast, race falls apart, and weird things can happen. And I think a horse like Patty's House deserves a look in here for Scarlet Stable. Santos Sanger gets the call. Now, Sanger's winning at 11%, but I think those percentages are a lot higher on the turf course. Not something I can confirm, just a hunch that I've paid attention to. Sanger's sneaky good on the side. This is a horse in Patty's House who's 15-1 on the morning line. 4 tries on the turf. Now, he is winless on the turf. Some of the others have had more success on the side. But he's got a second and a third, and against some tough customers of the likes of Arlington Park as well. I think this one is sneaky. This is a race that I'm going to spread out. I'm going to go as deep as I can in here. 1, 2, 4, 5, and 7. And with that, going deep in race number 8, doesn't leave us with a lot of room or a lot of room for air in the finale, the thoroughbred finale. 5.5 furlongs, all looking for their second career victory in here. I'm just going to use my top 3. Do scratch number 3, Splash of Tonic, and number 9, Lady Veneer. Those are big scratches. Those were contenders and also going to play a presence on the front end. I'm going to go 4, 7, and 10. Mia Estrella, 4-1. Marcelino Pedroza. Garcia with Southwest. Those are connections you simply cannot overlook. Along with Trafalgar Shore at 9-2. This one looks good in here. Has been running some very nice races and actually ran very well against winners for the first time. But I couldn't get my eyes off of ZZ's Red. I know it's a big jump up in class. The Indiana bred faces the Indiana Company in here. Takes on winners for the first time. But went off at 2-5 last time. I thought he won a little bit easier than it may look. He looked like he was tiring late in the racing form, but I thought he still had more left in the tank. I do believe it was a measured win for ZZ's Red, who could handle going against winners for the first time with tactical speed and a great post. I'm going to use the top 3. That's my ticket. It's a challenging sequence today. You have to find a single, in my opinion, and if you do, you could be collecting some big money. We'll send it back to John and Rachel as they lead you up to race number 1.
Well,
Those are
Brian,
great thoughts.
Brian,
Great thoughts, bro.
we appreciate your analysis, and but there's one thing. You won't be winning the Pick 5 today, and that is
Sorry.
because there's some breaking news, Rich.
We have just canceled today's card, and after we sat here and painstakingly listened to you go through your entire
It was a great analysis.
It was a great analysis too, which is what makes it so
Of a
sad.
future Pick 5.
He told us and texted us be like literally after you went through the second race. So we're so sorry, honey. But due to extreme heat, we are canceling racing for the day. And what we tried to do, just to let you guys know, I mean, Brian, what time did Eric text us? 9:30 this morning? I mean, we
No,
knew
it
that
was
it was
early
going to
this
be
morning.
hot, and we tried to wait out the heat and see if we would get a little bit of break this afternoon. But they talked to the horsemen, IHRC, and the jockeys, and the decision was made to cancel today's card. So while we are very upset that we are canceling, we've decided to go to the unofficial sponsor of Wire to Wire, B-Dubs, today. But yes, seriously, guys, we hate to do it because everybody shows up and it's such a, we're putting on a show here, but it's really more about the safety of our equine athletes and even the jockeys as well. So.
And again, that is for live racing. So if you're joining us here at Horseshoe Indianapolis, there is the first floor OTB, of course. We have full card simulcasting and here at Horseshoe Indianapolis in Shelbyville, Indiana. And again, with the heat indexes here in the triple digit range, we do have the casino that's open 24/7.
And it's
so
very
a lot of
cold in
other-
there.
Yeah, a lot of other gaming opportunities for those guests that are joining us here today.
Yes, it is. And you know what? honestly, I would rather do this than have something bad happen. So really, it's all for the best. And we're going to be racing until Christmas, I feel like.
And again,
Making up all these days.
we did, yeah. But I'm scheduled down in New Orleans for
Hey,
Thanksgiving
yeah,
Day.
I know. What are
so-
we going to do without you?
Oh, but by the way, just mentioning again, with no live racing here today, we noted about due to the weather conditions and the heat, but we are scheduled for the Wednesday card, Thursday racing, no live racing Friday, that's as planned, a regular dark day here. Then just to recap, 12 races, 8 stakes races here on Indiana Derby Day on Saturday, a field of 10 for that grade 3. We're really looking forward to
And
that.
the heat is projected to go down as the week goes on.
So that'll do it for us literally here today. No live racing as we wrap up this Tuesday edition of Wire to Wire. We're sorry, no live racing here today, but it's all in the best interest of the horses. And we'll see you again tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
We're done. Have fun.
Goodbye for now.
Bye for now. Stay cool.